period where they were going to start to discuss what was Dan Scavino's role?
At the time, I believe his title was social media director for the White House. It became deputy chief of staff at the time that the conversation in question took place.
Okay, and when was that?
The conversation was around December 19th of 2020 at the White House Christmas party. And I emphasized him. I thought that the claims and the ability to challenge the election results was essentially over, because he said to me in a kind of excited tone, well, we don't care and we're not going to leave. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, the boss, meaning President Trump, and everyone understood the boss, that's what we all called him. He said the boss is not going to leave under any circumstances. We are just going to stay in power. And I said to him, well, it doesn't quite work that way, you realize. And he said, we don't care.
Ms. Powell, were you ever around when anyone told Donald Trump that he had lost the election?
Oh, yeah.
Who?
Pat Cipollone, Eric Hirschman, Derek Lyons, all thought he'd lost.
Was that in the December 18th meeting?
Yes.
What was President Trump's reaction when, I guess, this cadre of advisors would say you lost?
It was like, well, they would say that and then they'd walk out and he'd go, see, this is what I deal with all the time. He was specifically willing to appoint me special counsel. In fact, he looked over at Cipollone 3 different times and said, do I have the authority to name her special counsel? And Cipollone said, yes, you do. And then somebody said, well, she doesn't have a security clearance. So he looked at Cipollone and he said, do I have the authority to give her a security clearance? And Cipollone said, yes, you do. And then about the 3rd time we went through that scenario, Cipollone, I think, said, you can name her anything you want, Mr. President, and nobody's going to pay a bit of attention to it.
And I endeavor to be a person of sound moral and ethical character in all of my dealings. In the wake of the 2020 presidential election, I believed that challenging the results on behalf of President Trump should be pursued in a just and legal way. I endeavored to represent my client to the best of my ability. I relied on others, including lawyers with many more years.
Let's be very clear. When she says if she knew then what she knows now, she's referring to getting busted. I can almost guarantee you, if they had gotten away with it and Trump pulled it off and was still in power right now, she'd be there right by his side, soaking up all of the attention and money and opportunity. Now, I'm showing this video as part of a mission that I've been on for quite some time, to let many conservatives understand this message that I keep repeating over and over again. They are not with you. They are pandering to you. They're pretending to agree with you. They don't agree with you on a lot of stuff. They're just pretending to agree with you. Jenna, Ellis, if I'm not mistaken, called out Donald Trump for what he was in the beginning. Many of Trump's close allies did the same thing. They told the truth in the beginning about how garbage he was, how dangerous he is. This is not liberal talking points. This is not Democrats, leftists. These are right-wing conservatives who became big allies of Trump, who in the beginning said he's dangerous, he's corrupt, he's a buffoon, right? Many of his top allies, if you do the history, look into it, they called him out. But then what happens? They find an opportunity to gain power and wealth and attention riding Donald Trump's coattails. And they decide to betray you guys and pretend to agree with all kinds of nonsense. The election is stolen, Trump is the best president ever, and Trump is doing all these great things, and it's just the liberal media this, and they don't want him because, he's all the nonsense, right? They will say anything to get that attention, that money, that wealth. They are lying to you. They don't agree with you. They don't think like you. They're just getting paid, and they're getting that attention that they need, right? The Kraken lady and Jenna, Ellis, and a lot of these like top Republicans who are big Trump allies, they can't stand Donald Trump, and they realize how dangerous he is, how corrupt he is, but they don't care. Right? They are only focused on themselves, and as long as they can get all this attention and they can show up at events and get a standing ovation and treated like celebrities and all that, that's all they care about. They are just leaving you guys to drown in the reality of the stuff they're advocating for. while you guys are left to suffer the consequences of the things that is happening in this country right now, right? They're doing okay. Many of these people, multi-millionaires, they got so much money, they're good. They ain't worried about you guys, right? They're just playing you for fools. The same way you see these women, and it doesn't matter who comes out and says this kind of stuff. If you're in the tribe, if you're in that sort of cult mindset, every single person, his wife, everybody, his sons could say he's a fraud, whatever, and every single time you'll come up with an excuse, right? Oh, they just this, or that's a traitor, and they were never really this and that, and they this and that, and like for example, what you say with these attorneys, oh, they're making it up because they got threatened by the DOJ, right? And they decided rather than be loyal to betray Donald Trump and make up these lies. No, man. If you think they're lying now because they're trying to get a good deal, then why were they saying the same kind of stuff in the beginning before they got on the Trump train? Does that make sense to you? Their first instincts on Trump is he's a fraud, he's a buffoon, he's dangerous. That's their first instincts. Then all of a sudden, when it's popular and when there's a benefit of being on his side, being on Trump train, all of a sudden, oh, he's the best president, this, that, and you agreeing with everything they say. You never have any problem with anything that's being done. Trump is just like an angel, right? And now in this situation, when you get a plea deal, all of a sudden we're back to what you originally said. So what's the truth? What you said in the beginning when there was nothing to gain, or what you're saying now? Or was it all the pro-Trump stuff you were saying for years while you were benefiting so much financially, the attention? These guys are not with you, man. A lot of the stuff that I see conservatives fighting for and pushing for, you guys don't have a lot of support. I don't know why that is. But the GOP doesn't agree with a lot of that stuff you guys talking about. People like Jenna, Ellis don't agree with it. Not even Trump. Trump's a Democrat. Trump's a liberal Democrat from New York City, a billionaire from New York City. He ain't no goddamn conservative. Talking about 2 Corinthians. Even Trump himself is not with you guys. It's for you to stop and think why that is. Why is it that most of the people who agree with you are frauds and fake and lying and pandering to you, pretending to agree with you? Why can't you find people who agree with you, right? People who actually agree with you, who are in positions of power or positions of influence. Why the people with the money and the wealth, right, who are the loudest voices saying what you're saying, why is it that it seems that one by one we're finding out each one of these guys are just playing a character on TV? Why? That's for you to answer. This is Debate Me channel. Debate Me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.